In industries where women remain underrepresented, visibility isn't just about being seen, it's about being heard, respected, and recognized as a strategic leader. Welcome to the PhD with Women on IT Hack the Future. My name is Jamil Navarrosa, and today's PhD Positivity Hack delivered will be by our guest, Sheena Yap Chan. Our topic for today is titled Commanding the Room Leadership Visibility for Women in IT. Episode 210 starts here. Let me remind you this is a grassroots community that focuses on women in IT, an inclusive forum for women in technology, startups, and female leaders who are supported by men as well. And I bring heart to that hassle because empathy is my mojo, and empathy is critical in leadership visibility. Join us for an insightful conversation with Sheena Yap Chan, best-selling author of Bridging the Confidence Gap: How Empowered Women Change the World. As we explore how women in IT can step into leadership with confidence, clarity, and influence. Sheena is the founder of the Confidence Through Visibility movement and host of the globally ranked top 0.5% podcast, The Tao of Self-Confidence, with over 1.3 million downloads and 800 plus interviews featuring CEOs, celebrities, and cultural icons. Wow. Drawing from her groundbreaking work and visible framework, she will share practical, actionable strategies to help women build executive presence, strengthen their voice, and lead authentically. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Sheena. Thank you so much for joining us, Mishina. To start, where in the world are you today?
Thanks so much for having me today. I'm currently in Toronto, Canada.
Mhm. So, Sheena, you've interviewed over 800 powerful women. Wow, that's really kind of a lot, and congratulations to that. In the IT world specifically, what's the biggest thing you see holding brilliant women back from stepping into the spotlight?
I think the biggest thing that's holding women back is really how they see themselves. A lot of women think they're not good enough. There's better people out there, not realizing they're more than enough to go out there and create something. And I understand there's still, um, systemic things that also hold us back. But one of the reasons that women don't step in is having low self confidence, right? And low self confidence is usually due to inaction. So by not taking action, we start to overthink, we start to fear, and then we end up not stepping into that role. And so it's so important to have that confidence, to build that belief in yourself so you can move forward and be the woman that you're meant to be. And it's not going to be easy, of course, right? We're going to have challenges. We're going to fall down, we're going to fail, but the more we keep moving forward, this is how we break through and create the changes we wish to see.
Mhm. And tech moves so fast, it's easy to feel like a fraud. How do we tell the difference between just having a learning curve and actually suffering from imposter syndrome?
I think everybody suffers through imposter syndrome. Everyone feels like a fraud, especially women. A lot of women deal with it more than men. And for me, I think, you know, syndrome is something that is also stemming from our upbringing, right? Especially in Asian culture, women are taught to stay in the background, never make any noise, do as you're told. So it's a lot harder for us to step forward if we have an upbringing that tells us not to be seen. And so sometimes you have to unlearn those things that we were brought up to learn and learn new things so we can move forward. I don't know if that really answered the question, but for me, I don't know if it's a difference or it's more of a mindset shift. We all go through learning curves. The more we can uh, work on our mindset to realize, this is just part of the process. We keep moving forward. We keep overcoming the roadblocks and challenges that we face.
There is so much pressure in the industry to be perfect. How can we build a sense of confidence that lasts rather than burning ourselves out trying to prove we're the best?
I think it's important to realize that perfection doesn't exist. Again, culturally, we've been taught to be the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, perfect sister, and it's really exhausting, right? We're trying to attain something that doesn't exist. Even if you see women on a cover of a magazine, especially fashion magazines, those are all heavily edited. Sometimes we see perfectly curated photos on social media, not realizing that's also edited, or we don't know what's behind closed doors. So it's important to be okay to start messy, to be imperfect, because we're going to make mistakes and it's totally fine. Sometimes our mistakes will lead us to our opportunities. So for me, it's important to build on your confidence every single day and not overwork yourself. We've been taught to, serve everybody else except ourselves, and that's how we go through burnout because we're constantly trying to prove our worth to everybody when it's unnecessary and realize we're more than enough.
And oh, Mishina, when you hit a major wall, whether it's a project failing or just a bad day for your self-esteem, what is your personal go-to strategy for solving that problem?
I don't know if I have a go-to strategy, but I think it's just seeing things from a different perspective. Everything that happens in our life is either a blessing or a lesson. And so when things don't work out my way, or if I have a problem that I'm dealing with, I ask myself, what's the lesson that I'm learning from this? Before I would be like, "Oh, why is this happening to me? How come I'm going through all this?" Instead, it's more like, "What's the lesson here?" And when we can find that lesson, it's a lot lighter as to why we're in this situation, and then we start trying to find solutions for it.
Some of our audience are introverts and maybe including me. Can you still command the room if you aren't the loudest or most talkative person in the meeting?
Definitely, there's a lot of people out there who are confident introverts. When you show up as yourself, your true self, that's when you can command the confidence. You can still command the room. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to say, so many words. Sometimes it's just being intentional, being direct. And when you can learn to do that, then you become unstoppable. So actions speak louder than words. And it's okay if you're still an introvert. Not everyone's an extrovert. Being confident doesn't mean you have to be the loudest in the room. It's about showing up in the right audiences, the right rooms to speak your voice, to share what you have to offer.
Many women in tech hope that if they do great work, they eventually be noticed. Why is waiting to be noticed a risky strategy for someone who wants to lead?
Yeah, I think we've always been taught that if we work hard, our results speak for ourselves, but that's not the case. Not everyone's going to see the work that you do, so it's important to share your achievements, to spotlight yourself, because you could do all that work, and if you don't say anything, someone else might take credit for your work. And it's really unfortunate. You put in a lot of effort into that, and someone else takes credit for it. So it's really important to be okay to self promote, to be okay to share what you've been able to achieve, whether it's an award or you did something that increased productivity or revenue. Be okay to share it. Working hard is not just about working hard, it's also about working smart. If you work hard, sometimes that's all you're seen as, a hard worker. And in tech, I know it's not always easy, right? But if we don't show up, if we don't showcase our work, if we don't share it, if we don't spotlight it, then nothing happens. So that notion that do the hard work and your results speak for itself, that's not always the case.
It can be hard to explain complex tech ideas to manager or boards. How does having confidence help us keep our message simple and clear?
I think when it comes to, creating a message that's simple and clear, it's going down to why you're doing what you're doing, what's problem you're solving. So when you can tell them the problem you're solving, it'll be people will be able to understand. When it comes to tech, a lot of people share, oh, that what they were able to do, what the features are. They don't usually share the result of it, right? Maybe it makes someone's life a lot easier. Maybe it increased the productivity of something. Maybe it eliminated complex processes to make things run smoother. So it's really important to share the outcome, because even if you share a lot of the tech terminology, and if someone a manager or someone on boards don't understand, then it's a lot of wasted effort. So focusing on what's the end result, showing the proof, showing the case studies, it'll be a lot easier to explain.
We've all been interrupted or had our ideas explained back to us in meetings. What's a polite but firm way to take back the floor and reclaim your authority?
Yeah, I think sometimes being able to say, hey, I'd love to share this. This is something that I've worked on and I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's okay to just take back, right? I know a lot of us feel like we need to be polite because you don't want to look like you're being too brass or too much because women have always been put labels that stops us from moving forward. But sometimes in order to dismantle these labels, we just need to be a little bit more bold and say, hey, I would love to, explain it from my own words. This is my research, and be okay with it. So I hope that kind of answered the question.
Mhm. Thank you, Miss Sheena. And I'll just give you a little break. So, for our audience, if you are finding today's conversation inspiring, you absolutely need to read Sheena's book, Bridging the Confidence Gap: How Empowered Women Change the World. It is a startlingly insightful roadmap for any woman reaching for the reins of leadership. Sheena walks you through how to navigate the pitfalls of business and, more importantly, how to level up your career by increasing your courage. Whether you want to promote yourself more effectively or understand the massive benefit your leadership brings to society, this book covers it all. Make sure to grab your copy. So, Mishina, let's uh, back. Beside the technical skills, what are the top three people skills you think every woman in tech needs to really move her career forward?
I think being resilient is really important, especially in tech. There's going to be a lot of things that might not go your way, and that's totally okay. And so you just have to keep moving forward, even when it looks like, it's not going the way you want it to go. Of course, having confidence is important. You have to, learn that you're more than capable to make it happen, even if you have no idea how you're going to make it happen. And, having being able to lead yourself, to be an advocate for yourself, right? You have to be your biggest cheerleader because, you know, if you can't hype yourself up, it's going to be hard for you to move forward, right? So it's important to believe in yourself so that you can even take that first step toward your journey in tech.
Whether someone wants to climb the corporate ladder or start their own business, what's your best advice for a woman on IT looking to take the next big leap?
I mean, if they like, they can always, talk to someone, whether it's a coach, a mentor, so that they can understand what they're going into and be able to also be okay to ask for sponsorship, right? A lot of people, especially women, get mentored, but a lot of women also realize, what happens after the mentorship. So we need to have people that can help us get into those spaces as well.
Visibility shouldn't just be about ourselves. How can women who have reached leadership roles help pull other women up behind them?
Yeah, it's important to bring others up as you're moving up in your own tech journey or leadership journey. And so this is why sponsorship is important so that, you've molded all these women into leaders. They're ready for that leadership role. And so you're that person that can say, "Hey, here's a position that would work great for you. Let's give this a shot." Right? Again, mentorship, is great, but if there's no sponsorship, then it's still a lot of wasted effort.
Speaking of mentorship, none of us get to the top alone. Is there one person you're especially grateful for who helped you get to where you are today? And can you share a story to
Yeah,
us?
there's not one person. I've been fortunate to have more than one person who just helped me kind of, be introduced, open that door, start that conversation, and I'm really grateful for it. Also being part of women's communities and groups have also helped because you get to network with other people and sometimes you don't know that there's that one person there that can help you get to the next level. And so for me, it's not one specific person. It's been different people.
And we have many men watching today who want to help. What can they do to go beyond just being nice and start being real champions for the women they work with?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's important to be supportive, but at the same time, again, sponsorship is really important, especially if he's in a leadership position. He has to think, how can I bring more women who have the leadership skills into these positions? And if he has the authority to do that, he can start saying, hey, I've been able to mentor this person, this woman. I think she would be great for that position. Let's bring her in, even if it's like a 3-month trial to see how it goes. It's better than not bringing them in. So again, sponsorship is really important after you've mentored women, after you've helped them mold to be the leader that they're meant to be. Because again, if we don't have the sponsorship to help women be in these positions, that mentorship also goes to waste.
And Mishina, you're always working on something inspiring. Are there any new projects or books you're excited about right now that we should know about?
I mean, I've just been really focused on my latest book, Bridging the Confidence Gap, since it just came out last year. So I don't have any new books right now. And then I've just been doing a lot of different speaking engagements in Canada. So yeah, just excited for anything, just excited for that.
So, congratulations again to your book. And Mishina, if our listeners want to start commanding the room, not just in the office, but in their daily lives and personal relationships, what is one lifestyle habit they should start uh, tomorrow or for every day?
Yeah, I think it's important to work on your mindset. Personal development every single day is important, even if it's just 5 minutes of your day, because that's going to help you train your brain to go out there and make those moves, right? Be able to command the room. So it could be listening to podcasts like this, reading books, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, watching interviews online, whatever that may look like. Really build on that personal development because 80% of this work is your mindset, how you think, the different perceptions you see. And um, if you haven't done the work for it, then you're in the same position again. So you have to treat your brain as a computer hardware. If you feed it with good things, of course, your computer works well. But if you feed it with a virus, what happens to your computer? There's pop-ups everywhere. It's not working properly. Sometimes you might lose files. And so you have to treat your brain the same way. Feed it with good things so that works properly. And it doesn't mean you have to be positive every single day, 100% of the time, because that's also it's not attainable. We're going to go through setbacks. We're still going to go through self-doubt, imposter syndrome, things like that. But now you have the tools and resources to bounce back faster.
That's very nice. As we are going to our the end of our show, we are always asking these questions to our guests. What is the number one book you can sit and think, "Oh, I wish I read before I started my career"?
Yeah, so the one book that I wish I started before was The Magic of Thinking Big. Sometimes, especially as women, we've been taught to play small, to stay small, but really it is important to think big. And even if we don't hit that target when we start thinking big, even if we hit 60%, 80%, that's still a lot farther than zero. So that's the one book that I wish I started before like I read before I started my career because again, 80% of this work is mindset.
Let's imagine that you could meet anyone in the world for a private breakfast. Who would it be, and where would you choose to meet?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have breakfast with Michelle Yeoh. I think she's been able to accomplish so much. I know being an Asian actress in Hollywood wasn't always easy. Sometimes you might be the only one in the room. It was hard to get roles, but she kept moving forward regardless of it and was able to win, an Oscar, so many different awards, and is still out there making movies, being seen, showing up for everyone else. And would love to have, maybe a congee breakfast and just kind of chit chat about her journey and, get gain any advice during that private breakfast.
Oh, Michelle. So I love her movie Memoirs of Geisha. So that's one of my favorite movies. So, and lastly, can you please give us your favorite life lesson quote?
Yeah, I mean, mine is really simple and short. It's start messy, right? Again, a lot of us feel like we need to be 110% perfect before we start something, when really you can just be like 51% ready and just do it. There's no such thing as that perfect moment. Life is messy. It's okay to start messy because that's how we create the action. In the book, Bridging the Confidence Gap, I talk about a strategy called Ready, Fire, Aim. So you start before you're ready, take action, and course correct as you go. And the more you keep doing that, that's how you get the results. You know, one of the biggest reasons why some of the biggest tech companies succeed is because they were able to start messy. It's because they were able to embrace failure. It didn't start 110%, 110% perfect. In fact, it probably started the total opposite. So be okay to start messy, keep moving forward, take it one step at a time.
Start messy. And that's it from our 210 of the PhD live stream. Thank you to our guest, Sheena Yap Chan. To stay updated and ensure you never miss a positivity hack delivered, follow Women on IT and turn on the notifications to be alerted once the video has been released. Thank you to our fabulous team, Marian, Racy, and Natalie. As always, our positivity quote comes from positive thinking only and goes look something positive in each day. Even if some days you have to look a little harder. Today is your day to hack the future, hack the positivity you want. Thank you.